Canadian Cancer Society. Just want to bring to your attention real quick some of our incentives that are coming up. Super Metroid Save or Kill the Animals. That is the very next run after Super Mario Sunshine. We've also got a lot of hype behind the River City Girls pick a character between Misako and Kyoko. Keep those coming. For the moment, though, I don't want to hold up Xeno here. Xeno is going to kick it off with Super Mario Sunshine. Take it away.
Alright, hello, how's it going? I am XenoSRL. So I've been playing this game for a lot of years, honestly, because, I mean, this is one of my childhood games. I've been speedrunning the game for a couple years now, and I'm really excited to be doing this. So hopefully I get a good run in here. Hopefully I don't choke, because I've been practicing for the past couple days, but hopefully I don't mess up. Is there anything else you'd want to say, or...?
No, I think we can jump right into it. I think chat's pretty hyped to get another one going.
Okay.
I know I'm super hype.
Alright, just tell me when I can start, and I'm ready.
Anytime you want to count yourself in.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. So, this is the any percent category. So basically, you have to get up to at least 44 shines. It's the lowest you could go. However, that requires the hardest glitch in the entire game, which I have not done yet. So it'll be 45 for me. However, it's only a glitch that saves about 30 seconds or so, so I'm not really going to bother learning anytime soon, because I don't really need it. But basically, you want to collect up to 45 shines, and there's tons of glitches and exploits that you'll notice throughout the game. So for anyone that's played Super Mario 64, which I'm sure most of you have, because who hasn't played that game nowadays? Basically, this game isn't as open world as 64 is. You have to collect shines in a certain order, whereas 64, it's a little bit more free roam. But this game has a lot of unique mechanics to it, that being the flood mechanic, because that's the main kind of gimmick of the entire game. So there's a lot of tricks behind that, which I'll definitely show off. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into this. The beginning of the game, however, there's like 5 minutes worth of cutscenes, unfortunately. We're gonna see Mario go to prison, so that should be fun. Don't really have much to say here in the opening, because it's just the opening of the game. So pretty much when we get over to this part here, we'll be greeted to the next cutscene, which is Flood, which is the main gimmick of the game. So yeah, if you guys ever want to hop in to read any donations, feel free.
Thank you for purchasing this item from Gad Science Incorporated. Preparing to register customer information, scanning and classifying.
Yeah, sure. So, what is the trick of the run? What's the one that is on your mind right now?
The one that's on my mind is probably Gelato Skip, even though I find it's not really hard to do anymore. It's the biggest skip of the entire run. So basically what Gelato Skip is, or GBS for short, basically it allows you to skip the first 6 missions of Gelato Beach. So it allows you to do mission 8 and then go right to mission 7. So basically the main goal for Sunshine is that you have to complete mission 7 in every world in order to be able to go to the final boss. So if you do that, by accessing mission 7 early, you're able to skip pretty much most of Gelato Beach by doing that. Which, that's in the very beginning of the run, so I'll be showing that off pretty soon here, actually. But yeah, it's definitely one of the harder tricks to learn. If you're a beginner, it's definitely going to take some practice. I know it took me a long time to learn, but it's definitely a big help, because like before GBS was discovered, it would take, like, you would lose so much time on Gelato Beach because of that. And just because of that, it kind of made, like, under 120 possible. So that kind of helped it out a lot. But pretty much here we have the first boss of the game, which is a polluted piranha. You'll see another one of these here in a little bit. So basically, all I have to do is really just spray it 3 times. And that's it. Then you get the shine spread. So this part of the game is really not too hard. It's pretty basic.
I have a much more casual question for you.
Sure.
What made all the intro cutscenes to this game bearable when you wanted to start speedrunning it? So I know there's just slammed packed full of unskippable cutscenes that just,
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So when I started running, I kind of dread that I had to sit through it every time. But I'm like, you know, it is what it is. I love the game, so I'm gonna do it. But I ended up taking, after I ran the game for a year, I took about a year off, and then when I came back to it, a new timing method was actually added. So there's 2 new timing methods for the game that have been around for about 2 years now. Those are a peach file, which basically is if you save the game right after you've watched the first 2 cutscenes. Basically, if you start your run at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you can basically skip the first 2 cutscenes, which is honestly a lifesaver. If you have a hacked Wii, though, however, you can use a timing method called hacked file, which allows you to skip literally all the cutscenes in the entire game. Well, the first 3, I should say. And by doing that, if you start your timer at 5 minutes and 40 seconds, you can do the hacked file timing, which is what I do typically. But for the marathon, obviously, I'm not going to do that. But that's what I've been doing now. But before that method was available, it was very dreadful. I'm like, I must have sit through this cutscene at least 20 hours every single time I've seen it.
That sounds absolutely ridiculous. I didn't even know that existed, so that's really cool to even know, just to make your mind a little less numb.
Oh yeah, because like, before, when I started running in 2017, it was dreadful. I didn't like it at all. But I'm like, you know what, we're gonna do it. There's still some people to this day who have access to hacked file, but they still prefer watching the cutscenes, which I'm not really sure why, but anyway, I'm not really gonna judge them for that. People kind of do their own thing, but me personally, I've always used hacked file now. I can never go back to that.
I hereby order the defendant to clean this entire island until Isle Delfino is completely free of...
Is the run pretty non-stop after the cutscenes are over? I can certainly see, you know, from the limited repertoire of games that I run, sometimes that little break is all you need just to kind of shake your hands out if you're doing a lot of resets.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, definitely, I found before hacked file was a thing, I was definitely resetting a lot more. Well, I was resetting a lot less, I mean, before it was a thing, because I'm like, I don't want to sit through all these cutscenes all over again. But luckily with hacked file, it's made it, like, a lot more of a chore, a lot less of a chore now, so... I'm glad that's a thing, I'm glad that's a thing, but there's a lot of runners in the community that are really against it. I don't know, maybe it's just because they don't like the fact that, you know, you're technically skipping part of the game, but I don't know. They have their own opinion, so I just let them do that. But personally, I'm really glad hacked file came into existence because it's just better than having to sit through these cutscenes every single time.
Even just as I play casually, like, I'm so hesitant to start the game just because, like, you could be so motivated to start, and then all of a sudden you're sitting through, like, all of these cutscenes, and just like, you know, I could be playing something else already.
Yeah, pretty much. Alright, well there we go. That's the dreadful of cutscenes pretty much done. Now we just got this one. Then we're gonna get back into gameplay. Which is what everyone wants to see, obviously. A little bit of casual comment here, but I like how they said you better not be slacking off Mario because they have their eye on him the entire time, yet you never see them ever again. So I'm like, okay. Anyway, so we're gonna fight the next polluted piranha that's in the game, which is actually used to unlock the first area of the game, which is Bianco Hills. So what we're gonna notice here is that we're actually gonna skip the first mission of Bianco Hills because you can actually do a trick that will allow you to actually get up to the second shrine first. So that, thus doing that allows you to skip the first shrine of the game, which of course, you know, saves time, which is a good thing. And then next up, we got another cutscene. The beginning of the game is very cutscene heavy, but I mean, most games are, to be fair. Most games these days anyway. So I did actually, when the 3D All-Stars version of this game came out, I actually did run this a little bit on 3D All-Stars. I was actually kind of thinking that I was going to submit a 3D All-Stars version for GOC instead. But I didn't, mainly because of the fact I've been running the original for a lot longer. And also, the 3D All-Stars version has some, like, sensitivity flaws with the controls. So I kind of dropped that version pretty quickly. But it's not too bad.
That's interesting, because I know I was playing with the 3D All-Stars version, and I did just learn that it was just straight up the GameCube version. So it's interesting to hear that there is even just slight differences like that that kind of make speedrunners shy away.
Yeah, so basically the difference with the 3D All-Stars version is that the control stick has a lot more sensitivity with it. I'm not sure why that's the case, because it ends up just making the game a lot more slippery, because I found myself in that version that was just screwing up on, like, simple things more because of that. I'm like, once I went back to the original, I'm like, yeah, I can see this difference, like, majorly. Not sure why 3D All-Stars had that version. I kind of wish they would have fixed that, but they didn't. But it's still good that it's Sunshine's on modern hardware now. But not like you can buy 3D All-Stars anymore. But at least you could have when it was still available.
Yeah, when Mario wasn't dead, of course.
Pretty much. March 31st, they massacred him. Poor guy.
Rip in peace.
Indeed.
In a non-speedrun setting, I most value just being able to pick it up and take it with me anywhere.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because when the 3D All-Stars version first came out, they actually didn't have GameCube controller support, which actually made me drop it for quite a while, but then in an update, they actually added it in, so it actually made it a lot better. Because I was not a fan of the Switch controls. I dreaded it.
Now, when you're talking about the sensitivity of the controls as well, now that they've added the GameCube controller support, does it still have those sensitivity flaws as well, or is that kind of remedied?
Oh yeah, no, when I was talking about the sensitivity flaws, I was talking about with the GameCube controller. It's on both Switch controllers and GameCube.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. It's kind of weird, but that's the way it was. So you'll notice a strat I'll do here, which I'm going to do a repeated number of spam sprays, which is by pressing the R and A button at the same time, which allows us to fill up PD Piranha's belly faster than normal, because normally the casual way of doing it, you would actually just spray into his mouth casually, just like stand here and spray. But with this exploit that the game has, we're able to actually beat the boss a little bit faster, which you'll be seeing this as well in Mission 5 as well, so he'll be back for that.
And we've got Simply Azuma testing the donation bar. Testing it is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much, Simply Azuma.
Y'all are killing it with the donations coming in and how much raise so far. Y'all are killing it. Keep it up. It's been really great. So you'll notice one thing that happens there sometimes. If you ground pound too early, you actually end up going through PD Piranha's belly, which is actually unfortunate. Most of the time I don't make that mistake, but it's kind of there. Anyway, so now we're going to go into the next level of the game, which is a lot of the levels that people like to dread when they think about this game, which is the floodless levels. So basically, it's the levels where you just don't have flood at all. However, the first one's not too bad. I'm pretty much used to it. However, my only flaw with the first one is that sometimes I'll accidentally hold forward too much, and it'll make me like slip off at one point, which I'll show off when I get there. Hopefully I don't make that mistake, because sometimes it's common. But hopefully I don't make it.
That's a good point, Tugboat. We do have a new Ghostbusters 2 pick a character incentive where the top 2 are going to be chosen. Currently, Lewis is in the lead with $9, and we've got a tie for second between Egon and Winston. No love for Peter or Ray yet.
That's unfortunate. That is really unfortunate. Not exactly sure why that happened, but that's really unfortunate. Funny enough, I've actually never bonked on that in my entire life. That's a first. That is a first.
And we've got $10 from Chalk Bob. $10 for the palindrome.
So, for those of you who may be wondering, this is the Japanese version of Sunshine. So this is the fastest version of the game. When I first started running, I was actually running on an emulator with the original, with the English version. But the Japanese version is actually the fastest version of the game. So basically what Japanese has that the other versions don't have, the Japanese has faster loading times as well as it has some exclusive glitches. And also the text speed is just a lot faster too. So it has that going for it. The PAL version, however, is the version that was used in 3D All-Stars. And if you're running the 3D All-Stars version, it's actually faster if you have the text in Italian. Because originally, Italian text is faster than Japanese, but however, the loading times for the Italian version are really slow. So for the original, it makes it actually a bit faster. So that's a problem there. But overall, Japanese is probably the most fastest. But if you're playing the 3D All-Stars version, it's definitely optimal to go with the Italian version. Or Italian language, I should say. Because 3D All-Stars has a language option, so you can pretty much just choose from like 8 different languages. So that was actually pretty useful for speedrunners.
I always love those little quirks of different speedrunning games and versions. I'd love to have just this great big compilation of which language is most frequently used in speedruns, and I suspect it's usually Japanese, but it's always cool to get, the odd. I think we had French for Breath of the Wild earlier, and Italian for a Mario Sunshine version. It's awesome.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's it's definitely interesting to see that, like, for certain games, that some languages are faster than others. I never really knew that, actually, until I started getting into speedrunning, honestly, so that's kind of interesting to know. There are a few other games I do speedrun, but this is kind of my main one, and I haven't really been speedrunning my other ones as of lately, and that was purely RNG based. That's really great. There was really nothing I could have did to avoid that. Because Sunshine has these weird wind enemies that will kind of just come out of nowhere sometimes and just strike you for no reason. Which is very unfortunate, just like that. I've never made that mistake either, Jesus. Already off to a great start here, aren't we? So, speaking of RNG, one level you're going to notice up that's near the end of the run is going to be Mission 5 in Serena Beach, which is actually a fight against King Boo. That fight is purely RNG, and it's one of my most dreaded levels in the entire game. Because the fact that it's near the end of the run, and that it's really RNG based, it can kill your run out of nowhere, and it's really unfortunate. I'm not a fan of that level. But my past couple runs, I've been getting perfect RNG, luckily, which is very rare, actually. So I was really surprised I was getting that. So fingers crossed that we get that this time, but I'm not holding out hope for that. So this mission here is going to be another fight with PD Piranha. However, we're not back in the windmill. He's just going to be kind of storming all over the place in Bianco Hills. So, we have to wake him up first, actually. So if we come up here...
I remember I always hated this level casually. Just
Oh,
a pain in
really?
the butt. Yeah.
Bianco Hills in
Favorite
general,
part was
or-
just shooting the pig.
Oh, that, yeah. Yeah, so once he does that, he's gonna wake up, and he'll come down here, and then we can fight him. So it's gonna be the exact same gimmick as what we did when we fought him the first time. It's gonna be the exact same way. However, this level here is also RNG based, so he has multiple different patterns that he'll go, and he'll go all over the place. I'm not exactly sure what the best RNG possible is, but I've gotten a lot of times the worst RNG possible, which is really a big like run killer. But this one's not as dreadful, at least because it's in the beginning of the run, so it's an easy reset. So it's not as terrible as the King Boo one, but it's still kind of frustrating from time to time. However, the first phase there was actually pretty good RNG, so I'm actually kind of happy with that one. It was not too bad.
Well, that's good. I was just wondering if there are other types of RNG than the worst.
Yeah, one thing this game is really known for, speedrunning-wise, is really its RNG, honestly. And it's kind of funny to say that in a Mario platformer that RNG is a big thing, but it really is.
I was gonna say, as we watch PD Piranha just kind of go over and back over that little bridge.
Yeah, pretty much. Unfortunately, I didn't get the best RNG here, but I didn't get the worst RNG either, so that's good. Now the third pattern, though, however, that might screw me over, and he might go all the way down there, which is really a big pain. But I'm hoping he doesn't. Maybe he's just gonna go right this way. Depends how far it goes. Where's he going? Is he going all the way to the right? Alright, doesn't want to play fair today. Alright, I got you. I understand.
Taking the scenic route.
Pretty much. I get in the
No,
scene.
don't kill yourself like that, Mr. Oh no, Mr. Pig. We're trying to save the animals, man. Why'd you gotta do that?
Well, when they do Super Metroid later, hopefully they save the animals, at least. Hoping they do. I put incentive towards that, so I'm hoping they do. Well, you can't kill the animals now.
Speaking of save and kill the animals, let me give you a little update at what we're looking at. Currently, Save the Animals is in the lead with $140.12. Trailing is Kill the Animals at $79.72. Also, just waiting for the next donation to break up that palindrome.
Alright, so now we're going on to the next area of the game, which is Gelato Beach. So this is where you're going to see the Gelato Beach skip that I mentioned earlier. So first of all, we have to wake up a polluted Prana. This is, however, the last one that we have to deal with, thankfully. There would have been another one that we'd have to do, which would have been the first mission in Bianco Hills, but we were able to skip that, so you guys don't see that, 'cause that's not part of the speedrun. This is luckily the last one. And also, I didn't really get a chance to mention this earlier, but earlier when we were unlocking Rico Harbor, you might have noticed I did a trick there where on the last spray at the polluted Prana, I actually hover slotted back to the entrance to Bianco Hills. What I did there is called travel skip. So basically what it does is it plays 2 cutscenes at the same time. So basically it plays the cutscene of the tower coming back up that Rico Harbor leads to. And also it plays the cutscene of Mario being transported. So basically it saves like 15 seconds because you don't have to walk back. So that's a trick I did earlier. Alright, so here's the, pretty much people say, basically one of the hardest tricks in the game. I'd say it's probably the second hardest, I would say. The first one would be EYG, which I have not learned yet myself, actually. Which only saves about 30 seconds, it's the one I mentioned earlier. But we'll see how well this goes. And I got hit by a Cataclac, wow, okay. Remember when I was younger, people would always call these things flippers. But their canon name was actually Cataclacs. But I mean, I guess flippers is fitting because they flip you upside down, so toss you in the air like a freaking ball.
They were like unnecessarily fun as a kid.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I love this trick.
And I actually pulled it off first try. Nice.
Nice.
So that saves a lot of time. Hell of a lot of time. Because we're able to skip the first 6 missions of Gelato Beach, so that's pretty good. But we do need to, however, go back and do mission 7, because that is required and able to access the final area. So we'll tackle that now. So a lot of people that really inspired me to actually start running this game myself was definitely the world record holder, which he actually just recently retired from running this game. He just moved to 64. So his name is Nindide. So if you're ever interested in seeing some other good speedrunners, I definitely recommend checking him out. Because he's definitely a big person in the Sunshine community. It's definitely one person that inspired me a lot.
Oh. 64 is one of those really intimidating speedruns. It's so optimized, and I've seen so many poor dead N64 controllers from slamming them into the slots there just right.
Oh yeah, I've seen that too.
Feel the same way about just the original NES ones. It's just like, now that you're going for like 0.002 of a second, it's like that meme of like the cat paw just putting that, like, put down the controller.
So this level here is actually RNG based. So these fire chomplets here, they actually have a certain pattern. So I think there's 3 different patterns that I can get. However, I got one of the worst ones, which is unfortunate. So basically the goal here is to actually shoot them into the lake that's over here. However, my RNG was not very great, so this is actually kind of slow. So I can thank the game a lot for that. That's great. So the next one should be over here, and then we should be able to go for the 3rd one, which is over there. These ones are really annoying because this is one of the slower levels in the entire game, and it's just really dreadful each time. I was never a fan of this level, and I don't think I ever will be. Sometimes I don't like to freaking get in there. It's not hard, it's more just really annoying to deal with. But if I were to get like the best RNG pattern here, I probably would have completed the level already by now. However, my RNG was not that great. Unfortunate. And also, if you press start here and unpause right away, you actually are able to spawn the Shine Sprite early. Which only stays about a second, but it's actually worth it to do. So, I mean, it's a second, so why not?
And I love about how we talk about how everything is super optimized, and then we say, like, yeah, that'll save a second.
Pretty much. Alright, so here is definitely the most casual level in the entire game. Because I can literally do this entire level casually, and I can just walk this entire thing, because it's just a race. And it's probably like the easiest level in the entire game. So this is actually going to be pretty simple.
I think we cut you off there before Sinus. What were you saying?
Oh, Malcrios donates $5, the palindrome buster of the channel now. He says, breaking up the palindrome, so we'll just have to keep donating to get another palindrome.
Yeah, so quick fun fact here, this guy's name is Pantissimo, but actually his true identity is actually the running man from Zelda Majora's Mask, actually. Which is actually kind of interesting, because I didn't learn that until like years after I played the game. Which is actually kind of a cool Easter egg. So basically the goal is just to kind of beat him before he gets up here. So if I wanted to, I could have just walked this entire thing. But you know what? I took the fast way, because why not? This is a speedrun after all. We'll see him one more time in the run, because there will be one more time where we deal with him near the end of the run. So we'll have that again. So that's it for that one. Now this next one is actually using a glitch. Oh, well, actually not really a glitch, but it's more of like an damage invincibility frames to cross a big pile of goop, which I'll show off here. There is times in this level that you can actually get screwed over by RNG because there's these little goop enemies that will spawn out of nowhere, and if you land on them, you're pretty much dead. So it's kind of unfortunate. Hopefully I don't hit one though. So we need to get hit by the wind here, and then we can cross this using our invincibility frames. And I did not get screwed over by RNG, so that's good.
I take it back. This was one of my least favorite levels.
Oh yeah, no, when I played this as a kid, yeah, no, I dreaded this level.
Oh yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, when I would do it, I would go into the pond and I would just kind of like walk in and out and have just water droplets hit the goop, and then I would eventually cross.
I did the same thing.
I think that was pretty common for a lot of people. You know, there's definitely a lot of levels that I really dread, that's for sure. However, that one did not go too bad, thankfully. Alright, so the next one, we gotta give a chain shop a bath, so that should be pretty interesting. So this one also has a bit of RNG to it, because you can tell I'm mentioning a lot of RNG, because this game is just filled to the brim with it. So basically, he has, I think it's 3 or 4 different patterns here, and he'll go a certain direction. And I don't know which route is the fastest, but it's RNG based, so you really can't do anything about it. However, I managed to get one of the better routes, so it's actually not too bad. He's just gonna go completely this way and then just turn right, so it's actually pretty quick. So it's not too bad. So the goal is here is to get him up to near the hot tub, and then when he's close, I'm gonna let go of him, and then I'm gonna run up towards him, and then I'm gonna do a spam spray, and then once he's up far enough, I can grab this, and then pull him in. That's it for that level. And he somehow turns golden. I'm not really sure how that works. No, I wouldn't want my pet turning gold. That'd be making me kind of concerned.
I don't know. I was just thinking, like, shiny chain chomp. Like, what happens?
Alright, so now we're going on to one of the most hidden levels in this entire game, which is the level where you have to rely on chucksters chucking you all over the place. So this should be fun. This is one level I really dreaded as a kid. There are times where I don't look forward to it, but like, I don't really mind as much as I used to. Because I mean, I've been doing it for years now, so I'm kind of used to it. But it's still one of my least favorite levels in the game regardless. Hopefully we do good here. So we're actually going to do a glitch here called Yoshi Skip. So normally you can't do this level until you've beaten, I think it's mission 4 in Pinna Park, where you unlock Yoshi. So normally you would have to get Yoshi to open this with the goop, but we can do a glitch here called Yoshi Skip if I can actually get it, Jesus. So you have to actually hover into the tree here, and if you hold backwards, and I somehow clipped right through that, I'm not sure. So there's one little weird glitch here. Sometimes Mario will pull himself up and you don't get it. This is really weird. This is one of my least favorite glitches because it's so inconsistent. And then you want to hold backwards and you can clip right in. So it's a nice little time save. Alright, hello you trucksters. I always dread talking to you. Can't freaking remember how many times I've died on this level, but I know it was freaking a lot, especially as a kid. My god.
You just talk to them on like the slightly wrong angle, and it's just like pew, dead.
Oh yeah, you're just completely screwed.
I love that it gives you like that one moment where you need to have that like button input just to make sure you know that you messed up, and as soon as that camera angle comes down, you go, oh no, and then you have to hit the B button just to accept your fate.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Well, luckily it wasn't too bad. We just gotta make over the last gap here, which is really not too bad, so we should be alright here. Normally I can go for an early cycle here, which is kind of hard to get, but I didn't get it, so I actually have to take it slowly. But most people can never get the early cycle because it's actually really hard to achieve. Early cycle would be as if we actually managed to do the beginning fast enough. The Pianta would have been over that way, and we would actually been able to go over there a little bit early, but he unfortunately wasn't there. So we gotta do it this way. Alright, we made it though, so we're good. And that's that shine. Thankfully that's done, because I don't ever want to do that level again. Alright, one little actually kind of casual thing I want to mention here. One thing I found was kind of interesting. Some of the dialogue in this game actually is very different compared to versions. So one thing that's different, once you grab a shine sprite in the Japanese version, it says shine get. But if you play the English version or any other version, it just says shine. For some reason, they thought the word get was not English friendly. Not sure why. Don't really know the reason behind that, but it's kind of weird. Because like that's not the only dialogue change that this game has. It has a few other ones that just like kind of don't make sense to me. But it's really interesting to know because like history about certain games really interests me. So I really looked into this game before I even started speedrunning it. This game has a really interesting development cycle. It had a bit of a rushed one, but in the end I think the game turned out pretty okay. Because originally this game was completely different than what it turned out to be. The flood mechanic was always considered, but
I actually didn't know that.
okay. Yeah, so originally this game was going to have a mechanic to go to every world. You would actually use a train to go to every area on the game. But they, for some reason, cut that, which would have been interesting to actually use, but they cut it.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Something that I was always super disappointed about was all the early concept images of Odyssey having Isle Delfino in there, and then it just slowly kind of disappeared. It's like, oh, come on, guys.
Oh, I remember that too. I was heartbroken.
A lot of people were. It would have been so good. It would have been some perfect opportunities for some cameos, and just dropped the ball.
Oh yeah, I really wish they kept it in there. Jeez, I'm balking a lot today. Some things I normally don't. You know what? This wouldn't be a Mario Sunshine run without bonking at least a couple times. What this game is really known for, especially Mario 64 too. So yeah, Odyssey is also another Mario game that I run. However, I haven't ran it in like 3 months, so I'm not really sure if I'm gonna go back to it or not. But it's definitely another fun Mario speed game. It has a lot of other exploits to it though. It has a lot of really hard tricks to learn. Like, the way that the world record for that game improved over just 4 years really amazes me. Because, like,
Odyssey was always so tight on movement.
Oh, it is. It still is. Like, the world record now is, like, 56 minutes, I think. It's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
I know. It amazes me still to this day. Yeah, it's a very, very definitely challenging game to speedrun. But I don't know if I'll ever go back to it because I don't really plan on dropping Sunshine anytime soon, so I'm not really sure. I used to do 64. I only ever really did 16 star. I never got into 70 star or anything. But that's another good game too.
Now, with all the years that Sunshine has been run and all the tricks that have been discovered, how much more potential do you think there is for any future skips to come out at still?
I think it's very, very, very low. I don't think there's going to be any huge major skips found. There might be like 5 or 10 second skips found, but anything major, I don't think so.
was gonna say it's lived a very full life, but you never know how much you can really just keep milking and see what you get.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's possible, but in honesty, I don't think it's gonna happen. But we'll see. Alright, so now we're going to the next area of the game, which is Pinna Park, which is actually one of my favorite areas. So now we got another cutscene greeted here, which always, this cutscene kind of weirded me out as a kid, because Shadow Mario's got a big-ass tongue. And I didn't know how to feel about that.
Oh yeah, look at that.
That is Peanut Island, the villain's secret hideout.
Oh yeah, wow. It looks like he ate a Yoshi.
Oh yeah. Alright, well, there we go. Alright, so there's going to be 2 more cutscenes that come up here, but we can actually skip them using a timed pause, actually, which is going to be interesting, so I'll show that off, too. Because doing the cutscene skips actually saves about, like, 3 minutes in total, so it's actually pretty big. However, they're, like, some of the easiest, like, glitches to pull off. It's super simple. So I'll show that now. So as you can see, right when I slid past the pink pole there, I pressed start and exit area, and it actually allows us to skip the first cutscene. It saves about 1.5 minutes. Or, no, actually, no, I think it's more 45 seconds, something like that. Because then the second one saves around 2 minutes. So yeah, something like that. So the goal of this one is to fire these rocket missiles at Mecha Bowser, which will allow us to beat the mission. The far away rockets, I find are really the hardest ones to get. See that first one there I missed? Half the time I always miss that first one, I swear. The second one though I'm a little bit more consistent with. As you can see, I did get the second one there. So now we get the third one there. And then we can use spam sprays here to actually grab this one here a bit early, which I'm going to do. Fire it at him. That. Grab that one again. And once we get 4 hits, he's done. That was it.
It's ridiculous. We're just blasting through these worlds.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that there. The second cutscene skip, right when the explosions appeared, I pressed start and exit area. That's kind of like my visual cue to do that. That's what most people use to skip that cutscene there. So those are like really the 2 easiest cutscenes to really skip in the entire game. I've really had no issues with it. Alright, so now the next one is going to be another floodless level, which a lot of people claim to be the easiest floodless level in the entire game, which I can really agree with, because it's really not that hard. So basically, we're going to pull off a little trick here. So normally, casually, you'd have to defeat them all here in order to be able to enter the secret, but we can actually use a perfectly timed spin jump with a hover to actually get in there early, so I'll show that off now. And I somehow missed it, I'm not really sure. His hitbox kind of came out a bit early, so I'm going to try that again. And that messed me up, that's really great. Yeah, sometimes if you miss it, the hitbox just kind of stays, so I think I'm going to have to do this the casual way, unfortunately, which loses like 30 seconds, so that's kind of unfortunate. I'm not really sure how I failed that, but I did. Which is a bit unfortunate.
Classic marathon luck, as they say.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the casual way, so at least you guys got to see me do something casually. I guess. Yeah, that's not the typical way we would do it. Anyway, so on to the level itself. Basically, it's just, you have to get over these blocks here. And they're kind of disappearing, so you have to be careful how you jump. Honestly, though, it's not even that bad. It's pretty simple for me. So that's it for that level. It's just more about just doing your jumps and dives correctly. because the ground beneath you is just kind of disappearing and reappearing, but it's really not that hard. You have all the time in the world to do it. I think I've only died on that level maybe like once in a run, and that was it. So that one's not too bad. This one is another red coin mission, which we actually haven't seen a red coin mission since we were in Bianco, actually. But here's the next one of the game, which is actually has a lot of movement to it, which actually I really like the movement for this one. So I'll go ahead and pull that off now. Although even on the movement I do like, it is a little bit tedious at times, because like, if you do mess up one thing, it's kind of like a 10-second time loss at times, so it's really not the greatest thing either. But the movement I do find pretty satisfying. We're gonna grab that one. And we grab one up there. Now what I like to do, I like to dive down here, and then come up this way, and spin jump over here. That. Next one here, which is the fourth one. Grab this one. And that's it for that one. So what I did there at the end, actually I pressed B, and then I pressed R right away, so actually you can just hover back up here instead of having to walk all the way back down and then walk up here manually, which saves a good amount of time. And there's that one. So the next one here actually is a level that I've actually practiced fairly decently, because there's actually multiple ways you can do this one. So what you're going to notice is that there's going to be around 5 enemies that comes towards us. And basically, there's a certain way you can do it that allows you to kill all of them at once. However, it is a bit tedious to do. I've only ever pulled it off maybe a couple times. But it definitely does take a good amount of time. But if we don't get it first cycle, that's okay, because we can always pull off second cycle, which is not too hard to get. So we'll go ahead and do that. So this one, spam sprays, you're really going to want to make use of here. Let's see if I can get these to walk towards me. So you can see they're all kind of huddle around you, which kind of makes it annoying, because if they don't... Yeah, see? I kind of failed first cycle, because when they huddle around you, you really can't move. So that one is a bit tedious, unfortunately. Did get that one. And that likes to happen. This one's just so, like, timing precise, it's really annoying. This one definitely takes a lot of practice to get used to. So unfortunately, we didn't get the best cycle, we got third cycle, unfortunately, which is, like, the worst one, but... You know what, win some, you lose some. Because that one is definitely very tricky to pull off, because once you get horde, like, around them, it's just, like, really tedious. That is it for that shot sprite. But what would you guys say your guys' fondest memories of this game is?
You see, the funny thing is I don't really have fond memories, more so just I keep seeing parts and I go, oh, I didn't like that part. Oh, I hated that part. The part that always comes to my head, like, the first time is probably just the final level where you're in the boat. Just, like, so long, just trying to control the boat, hitting a rock, dying, and just, okay, we gotta do it again. Oh, I hit the rock again. Oh, look, a blue coin. Oh, I hit a rock again.
That's kind of how I felt doing the level when I was younger, but it's not too bad for me now, obviously, because I've been playing it for a long time. But
nice.
that's how I felt when I was younger. I absolutely hated it. I think most people did.
I think my fondest memory of this game, I'm watching it right now, I would say, so my first experience playing this game was when it was released on 3D All-Stars. Never owned a GameCube. So I think I have less time into Super Mario Sunshine than your estimate to speedrun this game.
Okay. Yeah, there is a lot of people that didn't play Sunshine until 3D All-Stars. I know a couple people that never played the game until that came out. So 3D All-Stars is definitely a good collection for those people that have never played them. However, the only thing I disagree with is how they made 3D All-Stars limited. I wasn't a fan of that. I thought it was kind of completely stupid.
I would still throw like $50 at Mario 35, like easy.
Mario 35, that was a good online game. I liked that a lot.
Oh, totally.
And then I decided to murder it all for some reason.
Rip.
Rip indeed. Alright, so now we're gonna go on to the second last mission, which is actually this is kind of technically the real last mission at Pinna Park. Because after this is just a Shadow Mario chase, so it's not really much. So this is a floodless level. You'll notice some kind of risky dives I'll be pulling off here when we get in there, so you'll see that. Mainly towards the end of it, so I'll show that off too. So for this one here, you need to enter the Yoshi go-around. Yoshi has to be orange for this, so you need a certain fruit. Papaya, this is RNG based, so the best fruit you can get is papaya. And unfortunately, Yoshi doesn't want that, so I actually did get best RNG, so that's actually really good. The only annoying part of that is that this actually likes to fall down here half the time, which is really annoying. So let's grab that, and we'll give it to Yoshi, and we should be able to all set to go on the level. Let's grab that. So normally, the glitch I was talking about earlier in the run, the EYG glitch, typically we would actually skip the getting Yoshi part. We actually wouldn't need it. However, doing the glitch does require Yoshi, but you get Yoshi through Pinna 5, so it actually allows you to access Pinna 6 through Pinna 5. But it's a really hard trick to pull off, because it requires you kind of clipping out of bounds, which is actually... Okay, I apparently slid off of that somehow. Not sure what that was. So the goal there is actually to do a jump dive off that block to make it over to the next platform, but for some reason I slid, I'm not sure why. But let's go ahead and get that again.
Speaking of Yoshi, another level I absolutely hated was taking Yoshi all around the main hub area and just making sure you don't drop in the water and getting that one lone island. I don't know what it was, but just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, most people are not a fan of that one.
No. I'm just literally sitting here going like, oh, I hated that too. But I loved this game, I swear.
Yeah, for speedrunning, there's actually a different way to do that, because you can actually clip out of bounds with Yoshi and kind of just like walk under there underwater the entire way instead of taking the boats. So it makes it a lot easier. And honestly, clipping out of bounds to do it's not that hard either. Because I've done that before in the 96 Shine category, which I've done before. I haven't done it very much recently, but it's very simple to do, because you literally just have to like spin jump up to a rooftop and you like clip right through it, and you'll be able to go to the underground. So it's really not too tricky to pull off, but it definitely helps instead of taking the boats, because nobody likes that.
My question is there any situation in which the death of a Yoshi saves time?
Unfortunately, no. There is not a case of that I can really remember at all. Because the only time that Yoshi's ever used in the speedrun is actually just here in Pinna Park. And also to unlock Serena Beach, but that's it. So, not really, no. And I don't know why I said unfortunately. Maybe I should have said fortunately. Alright, so now we're done with that area. We're gonna head on over to the next area, which is Rico Harbor, which happens to be my favorite area of the entire game. Not in terms of the levels it has, but in terms of the design of the area, which I really like. But we're gonna go in here now. And the first mission is gonna be against Scuba Blooper, which we'll fight him twice in here. Mission 1 and then Mission 5. He also reappears in Noki Bay. However, we'll be able to skip that using a clip through a wall, actually. We'll be able to skip that fight. But normally, you'd fight him 3 times in the entire game. be greeted with another cutscene here. So the trick here is to pull the nose off of him early. And once he makes that noise, we can actually let go, and that will be it for that. However, he has 2 phases for this. And sometimes I fail the second phase normally. First phase is normally pretty much fine. The second phase I'm not that struggle with. And I didn't this time. So that was pretty clean. And then he falls into there, and then he just kind of disappears. And there's the first shine at Rico Harbor. Alright, so the next one here is actually a blooper race. It's some of you might know this level. It's where you actually have to complete like a course on Goober Blooper, and if you beat it in under 40 seconds, you get a shine sprite. So we're gonna do this blooper list actually. Well, the second part of it anyway. Which also saves like a good amount of time, so I'll show that off. It's actually a pretty fun strat movement-wise, which I really like.
I'm going to jump in here real quick with an incentive update. There's been some movement in the new Ghostbusters 2 Pick a Character bid war. Egon has taken over the lead with $15. Trailing in second place is Lewis with $10.23. In third place, we've got Peter and Winston with 5, and still no love for Ray.
I'm not sure how I died there. That was great. I'm gonna pull a bit of a casual move here. I apologize for this, but I have 1 life left. So I'm actually gonna grab a 1-up here very quickly. Because I don't know how I died there. I'm kind of confused myself, actually. So I'm gonna grab this just to play it safe. I'm gonna grab that. Don't know how I died there. Maybe I was too close to the wall. I didn't think I was. Because I don't ever remember dying there, ever. But alright, let's go back in. That was very unexpected. Say that much. I think it's the marathon luck affecting me.
Well, you don't have to call it a casual strat. Just call it marathon safety strats. Potato, potato.
And there you go. That's a good way of looking at it. I think one thing that a lot of people don't like about this game is how many blue coins you have to collect. Just to be able to 100% the game. I think a lot of people don't like that.
No, I remember being younger and I completely 100% in Mario 64, and I remember wanting to move on to Sunshine, and then once it kind of dawned on me on how many blue coins there was, I was just completely demotivated.
Yeah, fair enough. Kind of blows my mind too. The 120 world record for this game is like 2 hours and 54 minutes now. It's like really insane. It blows my mind.
So as well, explain to me like I'm 5 really quick. You're doing a bloober race on the walls.
Basically, yep. Because we don't play casual here.
So how does that work?
So basically, you have to hit certain checkpoints on the map. And basically, by doing that using the hover strat, it makes it a lot faster, because you can get to those certain checkpoints faster.
That's awesome.
There's something very Mario Kart speedrun about that.
I was just feeling that.
It's not the first time I've heard someone say that. It's definitely Mario Kart-esque there, kinda.
With a hint of Diddy Kong Racing.
But unfortunately, Diddy Kong is a character that no longer exists in Mario Kart, because for some reason they just think he doesn't exist anymore.
What a shame.
Unfortunate. However, they
At least Mario had a date of death. Diddy Kong just got snapped out of existence.
Alright, so this trick here I did actually saves a lot of time. So typically for that casually, you would actually have to use a strat that would you would have to climb up the entire like the entire like wall of Rico Harbor to actually go to the top, and you'd have to take like a trampoline to actually be able to get in there from the top. But you can pull a little quick exploit, which is just kind of having a right time jump with a hover, and you can just grab the bottom of it and just flip up inside. So it actually saves like around 30 seconds or more. And it's like honestly the easiest shot in the entire run, to be honest. It's pretty effortless. Alright, so now we're coming up on another floodless level here. Which this one here is one I used to dread, actually quite a while ago. But I don't dread it too much anymore. Because I always used to suck at this one, but it's really not too bad for me now. I was pulling those marathon safety strats, because better be safe than sorry. There we go, there's that one. So the movement for that one I actually really like. It's actually pretty fun. I used to dread this one a lot, but I've gotten really used to it, and I've practiced that one quite a bit. So I've gotten really used to it over the time. Alright, so this one here is our next Goober Bloober fight, which this will be the last time that you see him. However, if you play the game casually, you'll be able to see him 3 times. But because this is a speedrun, we only get to see him twice. So
I'd also like to point out that there's absolutely no benefits to having Yoshi die in any of the speedruns, but at no point do we really actively go to save him when he's in trouble.
Yeah,
he's been kidnapped for a little bit now.
Mm-hmm. We will save we will save him here pretty soon though, actually, so he won't be stranded for too much longer.
And I was wondering, looking at chat, Panzer Dave could not take it anymore. Gotta bring back the double zeros on the donation bar. Panzer donates $1.77, saying, save the mals.
Okay, so unfortunately I've messed up second phase there. Because second phase actually lasts a little bit longer on this fight compared to when we fought him in Rico 1, which is really annoying. So that one I always kind of struggle with half the time. That's really hard to find. I was never a fan of Rico 5 solely because of that. It's something annoying. But I'd typically like to break off at least one tentacle when I fail the early kill. That kind of just makes it a bit easier. And then he lands into the water and his body just kind of disappears. Even though the water is see-through, so I don't know how that works. He kind of just like clipped through the ocean floor and then just gone.
Funny, I've never noticed that. But yeah, that is just what happens.
Yeah, it's something I never really noticed when I first originally played the game, and then I kind of kept seeing it over and over, and I'm like, hey, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, where does he just go?
He just kind of, I guess, just disappears into non-existent. Alright, so this is a level that actually I used to have trouble with a lot of the times. Sometimes I would bonk in a certain corner, but I've kind of gotten used to that now, so it doesn't happen anymore. However, this one shine here, though, we will go past a certain red coin, and unfortunately we'll have to turn around and grab it again, which is actually a bit of a nuisance, but it's the safest strat to do. So we're going to take this way, and then we come around this way, and jump over the sub, and grab this one here, and we'll come back for the one that we just went past. And there's our fourth one. And the fifth one, and our last 3 are up here. And there we go.
So does every level in Sunshine have a red coin shine, kind of like Super Mario 64?
It has, some levels have multiple red coin shines, actually.
Oof.
Because, like, Bianca Hills, for example, has 2. Well, technically has 3, because in the Floodless level, after you've beaten each Floodless level, you can actually go back to those, and you can do red coin shines that actually spawn in there. So Bianca Hills has... Actually, no, Bianca Hills would have 4 then. Because it would have the Bianco 3 secret, Bianco 4, the Bianco 6 secret, and then it would have Bianco 8. So that level in total actually has 4 red coin missions, which is quite a lot. So it's definitely a bit more than what Mario 64 has. Which some people kind of like to say that as a negative about Sunshine. But personally, me, I don't mind them, because I think this game has a lot of uniqueness to it, just like how it plays in general. So I'm fine with some of the more basic shines. It doesn't really bother me all that much. But I still enjoy the game thoroughly, so... But it does definitely have a lot of red coins to it, the entire game. But it's something that's never really bothered me. Speaking of Bianco 6, that's where we're going now. There's Yoshi over there. We'll save him here in a minute. Once we finish the last 2 levels that we need to do here. And after that, we'll be getting on to the final part of the run pretty soon. This is one of the more longer Floodless levels. It's not really too annoying, it's just more kind of long. Because there is part of this level that you really can't speedrun, because you have to ride on a block, and there's really no way to make the block go any faster. So it's just kind of casual. But I do like the movement here, though. For the most part, anyway. There's actually 2 free 1-ups here that we can get. It's kind of like the developers knew that you're going to be in for a ride, so like, maybe we should put 2 1-ups in here just in case. It's like, I kind of felt they kind of knew that people were going to struggle with this one. Which, me personally, I don't really struggle with it, but at least the 1-ups are here, so it's good for the marathon safety at least. So this is the part of the level that's really slow, you just gotta kind of ride the block up. And this one you gotta wait for the blue one to flip, and then you can dive over this way. And there we go, there's the shine sprite. So a bit of a slow one, but still pretty cool overall. And then now we have probably the easiest Shadow Mario mission in the entire game. This one is literally a freaking joke. It's such a joke. It's laughable. So this one, if you just go up to him and actually just kind of trail behind him by a little bit by doing sprays, he will be down in literally 2 seconds. See? Look how easy that was. I could do that even quicker too. That one is just way too freaking easy. Alright, so that's Shine 30. Now we're going to go on to Serena Beach, which means we're going to save Yoshi now, so he's no longer going to be kidnapped. Let's save the poor dino. So this here is actually RNG. Sometimes Shadow Mario will run to the left, or he'll run to the right. Running to the left is definitely the better RNG, because there's a banana closer than when going to the right. So Yoshi needs, for some reason, I don't know why they chose, but it's always a banana that Yoshi wants on that one there. Not sure why they chose that specifically, but it's always banana. And then with that, we can open up Serena Beach and make our way in. So this is a level that I think a lot of people don't like, because this is the giant manta ray boss. I think a lot of people think this level kind of gave a lot of people nightmares when they were younger. When I've heard anyway. A lot of people don't like this one. And I didn't like it either. Even in a speedrun, it's kind of a bit tedious at times. where the big freaking thing is. So the goal here is to break it up into tiny mantas, and that's how you defeat it. So the best thing to really do while it's still approaching is you can come up here and kind of spray it, and that'll actually make it split apart a lot faster instead of walking right towards it. That's what I like to do, and as it splits up more, I like to go closer to it, and then I can spray more of it. And then eventually, this is a very, very spam spray level. So if you're speedrunning this, your thumb might get a bit sore after this level, because you have to spam the heck out of your A and R button on this one. So if you have bad hands, I don't think you can have much fun with this level. So that was actually pretty good. I actually managed to split that apart pretty fast. That actually might be one of my best times in that, actually.
Nice.
That was pretty good. Unfortunately, with the spam spray exploit, you do have to refill your water a lot, but it still is faster than doing it just normally. But you do gotta be careful though that you don't run out of water too fast. And there we go, that's it for that level. That was actually pretty good. And with that, we'll bring the hotel back up, and that's it. And then we can continue on with the rest of the world.
While we're moving into that, I'd like to mention one of our donation incentives that I have neglected thus far. The Great Circus Mystery starring Mickey and Minnie. There is a character bid war between Mickey and Minnie, and I'm told Minnie can do everything Mickey can in heels. So, if you would like to solidify that Minnie pick, she's currently leading at $15 to Mickey's 0.
Ooh, dang. Mickey better step up his game then. So here we got another floodless level. So this world here actually has two floodless levels pretty close to each other. So we have this one, and then mission 4 is also a floodless level, which is honestly a little bit of the more tedious ones, which I never really liked to begin with, but I've gotten really used to it now. But it is definitely one of the more tedious ones that I find people will struggle with, especially if you're new to the game. And I did not even spray any of those, I'm not sure how. So you're going to spray these boos so you can actually make your way up here, and then you can get there. It's a bit tedious too. Sometimes you'll just end up going right over it. There we go. Alright, so this level here, I don't know much to say on this one. Just kind of filled with blocks. You just gotta kind of make sure not to like mess up any of your jumps, because there are a lot of parts that you can really die on this one. This one is a little tedious too. Okay, I guess I fell right off there, not sure how. Typically, I like to go for the dive strats there, but I'm not going to go for it because it's really risky and I don't want to actually eat up too much time in case I do mess it up. Yeah, I never usually die on that part actually. And there we go, that's it for that one. Again, a bit of a slow strat one, but it's really not too bad. Alright, next is actually a pretty simple one too, that involves a banana. It's basically, so this is actually a mission, typically where you have to use Yoshi. You need to grab him a pineapple, which is actually way up in the attic of the hotel, which takes quite a bit of time to get. But with banana, we can actually skip that entire sequence, which saves a good amount of time. So I'll show that off. We grab this banana here. We actually wall jump up this way. I somehow missed that. One thing I don't like about this wall jump is that the camera has really weird effects there. Sometimes it'll like turn the wrong way and mess you up. So if you do a backflip here and press B at the right time, you can actually clip through there and grab the shine. So you actually don't have to do the whole Yoshi strat, which is like a big time save. And luckily that's one of the easier strats to do in the entire game. Alright, now we're going on to the next floodless level, which is going to be mission 4. Which actually, this does actually involve a pretty big, skip here. So for anyone that's played this game, you might remember that Hotel Delfino has the casino area, which normally you would have to solve like a shine sprite puzzle. We're actually going to skip that entire sequence. So the trick that we're going to pull off here is actually involve some wall jumps.
I love this trick in here. It's probably one of the few tricks that I just try to do, like, just casually, just like, oh, well, I could probably do this.
And there we go, and that skips the whole sequence.
I love it.
And there we go. Actually got that first try. The strat I did there at the beginning is actually very tricky, and sometimes my heart races on that one. Because if you don't get that dive, you actually just bonk off the block and you'll just die. It's really infuriating when it happens. But luckily I didn't mess it up. So now we're going on to King Boo, which I mentioned earlier. This is the worst RNG in the entire run. Like, hands down, typically the worst RNG. Because it's near the end of the run, and it's a major run killer too. So we'll see how well this goes. So, funny enough, a bit of lore here, actually. So this is the first time that Mario ever encountered King Boo. And for those of you who have played Luigi's Mansion, in that game, King Boo says the reason he kidnapped Mario is because of the trouble he caused him in the past. But even though Sunshine was the first game that King Boo ever met Mario, it kind of assumes that Sunshine takes place before the events of Luigi's Mansion, which is kind of interesting. Even though they do have one Luigi's Mansion reference in this game, it is kind of cool to know that Sunshine actually does take place before Luigi's Mansion. It's kind of an interesting tidbit. So, the fruit cycle, so basically we got one already, and then the second cycle is always guaranteed to be like some random one. And then now we might get another fruit one, unless RNG is not nice to me today. Yeah, RNG is not nice to me today. So we did not get perfect RNG there, unfortunately. If you come back in here where he's sitting, you can actually just make him go back down, and you can spin again for another cycle. But I'm going to destroy these bubbles because they get in the way. They're not very fun to deal with. So now we got fruit again. So basically the goal is here is to chuck the peppers at him, or jalapenos I should say. I always used to call them peppers, but jalapenos. And then you want to throw other fruit at him while he's eating that, and that'll cause damage. Yeah, we didn't get the greatest RNG, unfortunately, in this fight. Which doesn't surprise me, because typically perfect RNG is just not very common. Yeah, we actually got, like the worst RNG. One of the worst, unfortunately. Alright, now we got fruit again. Now we get one more hit on him, then he's done. Yeah, as you can see, just because of RNG alone, this can be a major run killer for someone. I know I've lost several runs to this mission before, and it's not fun. It's the worst feeling. Okay, I want to grab the pie, please. There we go. So that's it for that mission. So it's solely RNG based, but not very fun. Alright, so now we're going to go on to the second last mission, which is cleaning up ink. So that should be fun. So this also does involve us using the spam spray exploit quite a bit, like we did for mission 1. So that's actually is going to cause you to have a sore thumb if you have bad hands. Surprisingly enough, I still have good thumbs despite me spamming the heck out of my RNA button for so long. Yeah, this is very, very matchy heaven. So you can see here we have to do nothing but spam spray. Now, one thing that's different about this level with the different versions of Sunshine is that if you miss like a little speck of goop here in this mission in the Japanese version, you won't complete the level. But if you're on the PAL or English release, you can actually miss like about a quarter of it and you'll complete the mission. It's actually kind of weird. I'm not sure why that happens. Maybe it was a bug in the Japanese version. The Japanese version was the very first version of Sunshine to ever be released. So maybe it was something that just kind of fell through. Not really sure. It is kind of interesting to know. Which, I still have my English version of the game, but it's been sitting, collecting dust in its case for God knows how many years now. Hasn't been touched in ages, that's for sure. Alright, well there we go. So that wasn't too bad, except for the bonk there at the end, but wouldn't be a speedrun without a bonk. There we go. Alright, so we're almost done with Serena Beach now. We're gonna do the last level, and then we'll be on our way to Noki Bay, which is the second last level. Because then we still have Corona Mountain, obviously. So this Shadow Mario mission is fairly easy. The only part of it that's not easy is if you miss the early kill, is that he walks up like a flight of stairs and that kind of loses like 10 seconds or more. So it's like the only complaint I have with this one, but it's really not that hard to get the early kill in this one. It's fairly simple. However, getting the hover slide up these stairs is like really annoying for me. I'm not sure why. Because half the time I get it, half the time I don't. So yeah, if we just kind of walk up to him and then just kind of spam right here at the end. Oh, we actually didn't get it. So yeah, that's where you can lose time on this one. Again, it's not major, not major, because you can just finish it off there. But it is a bit unfortunate. There is a game crash you can do here, actually. Of course, I'm not going to do it, because I don't want to crash the game. But it involves a blue coin, which was interesting. Alright, so now we're going to go on to Noki Bay, which is basically the last main area of the game. And then we'll be on our way to the final boss.
So as we bring this run to a close, do you have a favorite level that just feels really good when you pull off all the tricks, like a real playground level?
Honestly, I would probably say my playground level would probably be... I'm gonna go with either Rico Harbor or Pionka Village on that one. Or actually, you know what? I think Pinup Park, actually, because there are a few missions in that one where I feel like I can really pull off a lot of fun tricks. Especially at Mission 3 in that world, so I think I have to go with Pinup Park on that one. Pinup Park is honestly one of my favorite areas in the entire game, too. It's definitely one of the greater ones. Which, fun fact, actually, I guess I'll kind of mention this now. Pinup Park actually wasn't going to be a world in this game. It was still going to be in the game, but it was actually going to be part of the hub world, actually. Which is actually interesting to know. So the game was originally going to have, like, 6 different areas, and Pinup Park would have been part of Delfino Plaza. I'm not sure how that was supposed to work, but that was apparently the case. It's kind of interesting. I think it has something to do with canon. I guess you can kind of, like, transport back and forth. That's a cool little tidbit about the game's history. Alright, so now we're going to move on to Mission 2. So this is actually where you would typically fight Goober Blooper. But we're going to skip that using a wall clip, which I'll show off. So unfortunately I didn't get it first try. This one is a bit tedious. But we got it second try, so that's good enough. That allows us to fall through here, and we can grab the shine. Alright, so the next one is a red coin mission, which is the last one of the run. Not the last one in the entire game, but the last one of the run. This one actually is pretty fun. So we transport into the bottle here, and there's 8 red coins that we gotta collect. There is really no specific order that you have to do this if you're doing casually, but speedrun there is a great route here to do, which I'm actually gonna do right now. And there we go. How are the incentives coming along?
Well, I'm glad you asked. The Super Metroid Save and Kill the Animals bid war is currently Save the Animals is leading with $141.89 versus Kill the Animals at $79.72. Ghostbusters 2, pick a character. Remember, the top 2 will be selected. We've got Egon at $15, Lewis at $10.23, Winston and Peter tied at 3rd place. Anyone could take that one. Ray, still no love. I'm really excited about this River City Girls pick a character bid war as well. There's been a lot of movement on that one today. Currently, Kyoko leads with $250 to Misako's $200. And lastly, as we mentioned very briefly earlier, Minnie doing everything Mickey can in high heels, leading $15 to 0.
Okay. I'm glad Super Metroid Save the Animals is doing it, because that's the one I put to work, so that's good to hear. And the last mission we just did there, that was actually my best time on that one. I actually gold splitted that one. Alright, so this one you gotta clean the eel's teeth. As a kid, I never liked this mission at all. But you'll see a strat that I'm gonna pull off here that's gonna make this a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah, I've got to say, casually, there is no situation, no Mario game in which I've dealt with eels that has ended well for me.
I'm assuming Mario 64 flashbacks.
Oh, yes.
Oh my, The one I really mainly dealt with the Mario 64 was Mario 64 DS, because I grew up playing that version of the game. Mario 64 DS is good. Honestly, I like that better than the original Mario 64, but the only thing that held that game back, so the problem is that it used a D-pad, which was not good for a three-dimensional game, but it was okay for the most part.
See, as a retro gamer, you say that, like, that's the one you grew up with, that's the one you played, and I have never even played the DS one just because it feels so blasphemous and just dirty to me.
Okay,
It's like,
yeah,
this
that's
isn't what I know.
Yeah,
And even, like,
there's a
I
lot of
just
people
have that
like
with
on
all the
one.
most recent games, like even the new Link's Awakening that came out. It was just like, wow, I could really just be playing the original Link's Awakening.
Yeah, actually, a lot of Zelda games I haven't played, because I haven't really been too much into the Zelda series, but although I did like Wind Waker and Breath of the Wild. Those are probably my two favorite ones.
I actually just found out there's a bingo generator for Breath of the Wild. Had a lot of fun with that. Just any excuse to return to that game.
Okay, yeah, Sunshine actually has a bingo community for itself too, actually. I've taken part in that multiple times, and it's actually like a really good way to practice the game. I've had a lot of fun with it. And I somehow messed that up, that was great. So yeah, we got the second last, or the last Pentissimo race here. This again, pretty simple. Let's get to the goal before him. He is pretty slow. Oh, there we go. He said he's the master of speed, but then yet I beat him pretty easily there, and he got a big head start of me. I don't know about that one, Pentissimo. I think you've met your match. Alright, so now we're going on to the last Floodless mission of the game, which is one of the bigger ones, actually. I like the movement a lot. So this should be interesting to see. See how the eel level that we did here, actually. That was one of my least favorite levels. That's the one that was holding me back a lot, but then I eventually learned, like, fast strat, which you guys saw there. And that saves, like, over a minute. Or about a minute, anyway. And it's, like, once you learn it, it's pretty easy to pull off. And I'm so glad I learned it, because it just opened the door for me to really improve my time. Because I always dreaded that level so much when doing my runs, but now it just doesn't bother me. Alright, so here's the last one, which is the Show Secret. Okay, I somehow missed my spin jump. That would have been a quicker way, but that's alright. And there we go. A bit of a bonk there, but that's alright. Alright, now we're going to the last Shadow Mario mission of the game, and then after that, it will be the time for the end part. So as you can see, every time we return to the hub, we're greeted with the cutscene of Shadow Mario holding the turbo nozzle. So actually, if you don't grab that from him, if you beat the final boss before grabbing that from him, you actually just unlock the turbo nozzle and rocket nozzle right away. So you can actually skip having to take the nozzles from him entirely. So let's see if I can get the early kill on this one. And I got it, nice. So normally he would do wall jumps up there, which wastes like 20 seconds or more. But luckily I got the early kill. And there we go. Alright, so here we go on to the Corona Mountain, which is the final area of the game.
Well, I've got to tell you, I am really impressed and really uninformed about everything that I've seen here today. I have trouble pressing the jump buttons and controlling the flood at the same time. So seeing you just kind of float around and generally nailing everything and going exactly where you want to go, I'm really impressed.
I mean, it's kind of, I think the only reason I was able to do it is because, one, I've practiced the game for a long time, and also the fact it's just kind of what I grew up with, so I think it's more of that sense. But I can definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah, this game kind of seems like you can almost jump higher and go farther than almost any other Mario game that I've seen. And
oh
it's,
yeah, you can for sure, because like the hover just kind of is a big help. Because like casually, this game is pretty much just hover to win for like the most part. So casual speedruns, there's a bit more technical stuff to it, but for the most part, yeah, it's just hover to win for the most part. So here is the boat, which a lot of people really hate, and I included myself. I used to hate this a ton. There's actually a fast route you can do for this, where you can actually just kind of do a certain motion of sprays, and you can just kind of like rocket speed over to the end. I don't do it because it's really hard to learn, and I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna learn it at some point, but it's very tricky to pull off. There we go. So I'm gonna do a trick here called rocket storage. So it allows us to store rockets, and we can actually just skip this whole cloud section. There we go.
The water's great, hey, Junior?
Sure is, Papa. Come on in, Mama Peach.
So time is coming up when I do the final ground pound on the hot tub. I'll say when.
You again? Don't you ever give up?
Mario!
How dare you disturb my family vacation? I love that line so much. That line has been memed to death over the years. So basically the main point of this is just you gotta... I'm not sure how I died there. I was holding R, but for some reason I dove. Okay. I think what happened was I pressed B too early, so it caused me to die, but that's okay. So yeah, the main point, as I was saying, is to basically rocket ground pound all these, and that will cause it to float over. And sometimes RNG base still kind of ground pound the hot tub, which is kind of annoying, because it'll cause this goop to kind of go everywhere. It's not really too fun to deal with. Coming up on time here. time.
GG.
What was my end time?
Still counting up on my screen. Have you got it, Tugboat?
No, we're still just about there. We just have that little bit delay, but that's awesome, man. That was an amazing run.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh man.
It tried to marathon you, but you just weren't having it.
Yeah, had a few mistakes here and there, but that was generally pretty good.
Yeah.
Final time was 1:34:13.
Okay, I can live with that. That's my third best time. That'd be my fourth best time. I can live with that.
Wow, great.
Totally. This was awesome.
Yeah. Is there anybody watching you want to say hi to, Xeno, or any shout outs you'd like to make?
I just want to give a shout out to the Sunshine community because they've really just found like a lot of these exploits and glitches that just really made this game a lot of blast to like speedrun and play in general. So I want to thank them for that. I want to thank Nindide, which is the world record holder for the game. He was a big inspiration for me to actually start running the game. So I looked up to him a lot. And yeah, I just want to thank Game Over Cancer. I think you guys are doing a really good thing hosting this because it's going towards a good cause.
All right. Well, thank you very much to XenoSRL for that Super Mario Sunshine run. I'm gonna have to check out that Super Mario Sunshine bingo. That sounds super interesting.
Yeah, if there's anyone out there that really wants to get into speedrunning this game, there's definitely a lot of stuff you can check. There's a Super Mario Sunshine speedrun Discord server, and there's also a bingo Discord server as well. So if you really want to get into speedrunning the game, I really recommend bingo because it's a good way to really practice some of the stuff in the game.
I know she's not really my mama.
But yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Someday, when I'm big,
Hang on tight, everyone. We've got Super Metroid coming up by MM2 NES cartridge. You don't want to miss that one. We'll be back in a few.
All right, goodbye.